I used to walk around believing that I was special. That was a very genius thing for me to do. It made me become a class dog, which resulted in me ruining my self-esteem, which resulted in me having fewer friends and lacking the ability to speak to girls. There was always this one guy in my class that got all the girls, and to be honest, this guy wasn't even that attractive. I kept on wondering how someone that wasn't attractive kept on attracting more girls than the guys that look like these K-pop motherfuckers. I spent years trying to make myself look more attractive because I believe it would make me attract more girls, and it failed. I can't even blame the girls for not being attracted to me because honestly, I wouldn't even have dated myself. I was skinny as fuck, usually always sweating and smelled like boy sweat because of illegal football I used to play in school. Stammered whenever I wanted to speak to them and started losing my breath. I was the perfect definition of a class nerd. I and my best friend Joseph followed some protocols that turned everything around. I took advice from Andrew Tate, Hamza, Iman Ghazi, teaching men's fashion, and some personal life experience that changed everything for me. And we went from incels to giga shards. I'm going to tell you some of the major things I learned from these guys that changed my life forever. And also some of the personal life experience I learned during the process. The 5 major things I prioritized that changed everything for me. The first move is your look and your style. Some motherfuckers out there will tell you not to care about how you look or how you dress. I'm going to phrase it just how they usually say it. Fuck how you look, just focus on your grind, gang. They told me that, I listened to them, I ended up being a dog. I believed playing football was a grind. I spent most of my days playing football, believing I was training to become a pro footballer. And I ended up having the natural stench of a boy sweat. Thanks a lot, Instagram motivation. It didn't work at all. I did this instead. Depending on the occasion, I started wearing things more classy. If it's to go train with the boys, I wear something that is more comfortable. When I'm going somewhere more social, I find something that is a little bit more gentle. But here's the secret. I make sure I wear something that opens up my chest. Girls always fall for it, trust me. Or I usually wear something a bit fit and tight. I'm not talking of tiny clothes. Wear something that suits your body size. Find your style. Some guys nowadays prefer to wear these oversized t-shirts. For some people, it looks really good, but personally, I prefer the ones that brings out my warrior physique. Which takes us to the second move. Work on your physique. If I approach a girl to get a number, or even the guy sometimes, they usually give me respect just for having the physique of a warrior. I believe this might even be the most important move to make. Whenever they want to text me, this is the picture they usually see. I don't usually believe that that's me until they Google up Leo Axel. Now I know that to build that kind of physique may be challenging for you, but you don't actually need to put in as much effort as you think. There's a strategy I use to make my workouts easy as fuck and still very, very effective. I gain more muscles from doing less reps. I'm not gonna go about the strategy in this video because it's gonna take an entire video just to explain it. But there are two requirements needed, and one of them is a discipline mindset. To be specific, you need to focus on bulking if you want to have a physique that people will respect. Just yesterday, I felt very fulfilled finding out that the clothes that I used to float in now feels tight for me. I got that just from bulking up. I'm beginning to understand bulk more. Bulking up and maintaining visible abs is one of the sexiest things you can ever do. When you go to swimming pools, the attention is always on you. And let the secret out, bro. The next thing to do is to work on your game. This is by starting up conversations. In Nigeria, we have two languages, Pidgin English and normal English. I was groomed up believing that Pidgin English was bad. Foolish me didn't know that I was slowly at the rate at which I communicate with people. Whenever I was in a social conversation and I start speaking with normal English, I usually get this one reply. Now you go school pass. But I stopped getting that reply when I started bulking up and looking more like a shard. Instead, what happened now is that they stopped speaking the Pidgin English and start speaking normal English along with me. You can see the level of influence I got just from following the second process. Bulk up. In order for you to get better at conversing, you need to speak in a way people understand. Speaking to guys was not really a problem for me. The real problem was when it comes to speaking with girls. But I was able to follow a method that fixed that up for me. I'm going to tell you a secret I use in order to get girls into a trance when speaking to them. Most guys will not tell you this because they know it works like magic. This is exactly what you do. When you approach her, look at one of her eyeballs and just stare at that one only. There's this ability most guys have to create this sexy stare. Situation like this is where you bring out that sexy stare. She might try to look away, but even at that, you keep staring at the eyeball, that specific one eyeball. She will eventually look back to you. Then you put a little smirk on your face. And that's when you know you've gotten her, because she's gonna smile back. You can ask her the question like, how are you? 90% of the time, they usually end up just smiling and answering the question. If they end up asking the question and asking you back, how are you? There's a specific tactic I use in order to reply that question. I learned this one from Hamza and I've tested it hundreds of times and it works really, really well. Do not reply their questions directly. If a girl asks me, how are you? I usually reply with something weird and different, like being G or being Leo. Then I'll start asking something like, G, what does that mean? Then I'll say something like, if I tell you, you won't even believe me. Then I'll start saying something like, please tell me, I want to know. Then from there, I'll kickstart the conversation. Now, the fourth move is a bit fun. It's basically just doing fun stuff. Just yesterday, I was talking to this girl and I asked her a question if she could swim. She replied, and we kept on talking, blah, blah, blah. And she asked me the question back if I could swim. Then I took a second, stared directly at her eyes, and told her, this weekend I'll find out if I can swim at the swimming pool. You see what I did there? I didn't answer the question directly. And I also made her know that I do fun stuff because I told her I'll be at the swimming pool this weekend. In order to make people want to be around you, specifically girls, you need to stop being the guy that is in grind season, homie. Instagram motivation. Come on. I learned that one from the Tates. Of course, you should grind, you should work on your business, you should become a little bit of a workaholic, but do not make yourself boring because of that. I used to be a victim of that. Do not make yourself boring. And also, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you should start going to clubs, getting drunk, and smoking weed. You will just end up in square one if you do that. But do fun, adventurous stuff that will make your life interesting. We'll move on to the fifth move, which I believe is the heart of everything: self improvement. In order to move from an incel to a giga shard, me and my friend Joseph had to begin our own self improvement journey. You need to be willing to develop yourself to become more like your dream character, the perfect guy who reads self-improvement books, learns, implements what he reads, and teaches others what he understands. He builds a brotherhood from teaching people what he has learned. He works on his mental health and stops bad habits like taking drugs, spending too much time on social media, watching porn, sleeping late because of useless things. Build his physical temple, which is his body, makes himself look like a Greek god, and still lives life to the fullest. You can be your dream character with self-improvement. It's a fun process, trust me, bro. Enjoy this content, hit the subscribe button if you're not yet subscribed, and like the video for the algorithm. And don't forget, bro, to keep striving for greatness.